Hi, everybody. It's good to be with you here. Back from the dead. It's a resurrection. It's a rebirth. It's a fiery phoenix rising from the ashes. I definitely have a responsibility to continue to put out quality material for my subscribers. I don't want to forget that. I'm not going to go down without a fight. So I thought we would continue with a quick recap of our UFO crash retrieval series. And I've got some new illustrations that I'd like to cover, which I thought justified doing another series here. So let's go ahead and jump in, and I'll minimize myself here. I want to give credit to my artist, Rudy Gardea, who's done a great job at doing these sketches here to make these cases come alive. And it's certainly been a long time since I've been on here, and I want to continue the research here. Full color illustrations by Joel Christopher Payne did a great job making these cases come alive. And also full color illustrations by Joseph Wraith as well. So I want to give credit to my artists here. Now, again, where I'm getting this information is UFO Crash Retrievals, The Complete Investigations by Leonard Stringfield. And those are the years 1978 to 1994. So as we go through these new illustrations here, they're based off of the cases within this book. And it's a little bit pricey. It's about $95 on Amazon, but it's well worth it. So let's continue on here. This is the first case. Very interesting case, 1942. This is long before Roswell. We're talking 5 years before Roswell. Now, this particular craft came down north of Georgia. Even Leonard didn't know where this came down. And this is UFO Crash Retrievals, page 319. Now, this craft measured 15 feet wide, 10 feet high. And what's interesting, we didn't have this before. And so this is why we're doing the new illustration here in the new series, is that this particular craft had hieroglyphic type writing written along the bottom part of the craft itself. And when it came down at this Army base, it hit the side of the building and tore a hole breach on the side of the craft. And so you can see here what Rudy's done is he's shown you this hole breach. There were 3 levels on this craft. The upper deck had this control panel with buttons and switchers and levers and dials. Below that, there was this central deck that had 4 what looked like bar stools, and they were posted just in back of this wraparound window. There were 2 smaller windows there as well. The bottom section had an entryway hatch on the bottom section. Now, there were 4 crew members taken alive. They were about 5 feet tall, 90 pounds, large black eyes, milky white skin, oversized head, kind of a slit for a mouth, minute nose. And if you look at the dimensions here, 10 feet high, if these beings are 5 feet, then that means that there had to have been some type of a cutout to allow these beings to move in here. And so that's this first case. Now, what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and blow this up so that you can see what these hieroglyphic writings look like. This is a little bit more of the best representation that Rudy can come together here on what these look like. And we've heard this, that these craft are written on both the outer section of the craft and also on the inside of these craft as well. And we've been hearing so much about these UFO crash retrievals in the mainstream media. We're hearing about all these different people coming forward and everything. Some people are making the mainstream media. And what's lacking, and this was definitely shown within the press club, is a good quality illustration for all of these. And that's what was shown at the press club. But in other cases where we're hearing these other witnesses come forward that are also in the mainstream media, we do want to have good illustrations for those as well. Okay, next one. Wright Field, Dayton, Ohio. This is 1946. So again, this is pre-Roswell. And in this case, it is Wright Field. It did not become Wright-Patterson Air Force Base until October 1947. So this is Crash Retrievals, pages 242, pages 243. And we're going to move on here. Now, this is hangar complex number 4. I don't know if it took place in this hangar, but I suspect it may have been very close to this location here. We'll move forward. Now, this had to do with a 6-year-old boy. His first name was Tex, and his father brought him to Wright Field, Dayton, Ohio, because he had done a really good job in school. And he was talking to a janitor there. There was a connecting cafeteria to the local hangar. And this janitor asked this 6-year-old boy if he wanted to have a soda pop. And so he asked permission from his father. His father said, yes, go ahead and do it. And so this janitor bought this little 6-year-old boy named Tex a soda pop. And you can see here, here's Rudy's original sketch here of what this looked like. And so as this connecting doorway is open, he got a look inside this hangar. And we'll show you the second preliminary sketch on this. And what he saw was just incredible. It stayed with him for 40 years before he even talked about it. He really didn't even know what he was looking at back then. It wasn't until there was a radio show going on that he tuned into that he figured out what was actually happening here. Now, here is the first pass preliminary sketch that Rudy put together. And what you can see here are two 18-wheeler tractor-trailer lowboys with tarped debris. There was a dish-shaped craft off to the side. There were bodies that had blankets over them. And you can see him peering out this doorway in the background. And here is the final refined drawing. So this craft measured 20 feet in diameter. It had tripod legs. It had two what looked like ridges wrapped around the outer circumference of the craft itself. You can see the 18-wheeler tractor-trailer lowboys with this undetermined tarped part. So I suspect that this was more within the crash retrieval, something that they also discovered or recovered. We've got a Jeep there, that we've got military MPs guarding the whole entire operation. We've got the litters with the bodies. And that's what this craft looked like, was about 20 feet in diameter with these tripod legs. Now, what I want to do now, take it to the next level and show you what this would look like as a full color rendering. And Rudy did a great job here. We'll take you to the full color rendering, and this is what it looked like. This is by Joel Christopher Payne. Want to give him credit. Again, you can see the 18-wheeler tractor trailers. This follows virtually identical to what Rudy had done. We've got some boxes in the background. You can see the little boy peeking through the doorway, and you can see this somewhat white colored craft with the tripod landing gear, and then the bodies in the foreground. This is all before Roswell. So if you take the Cape Girardeau crash retrieval of 1941, and then you hook that up with the Battle of Los Angeles 1942, where we believe 2 additional craft were recovered. There's another case I've got from 1946 that came in on a flatbed truck from Arkansas. Now we're looking at 4 to 5 cases, and then we consider this one. We're literally talking about 5 crash retrievals long before Roswell. I think it's important to keep that in mind. Next one here. Papagos Indian Reservation, west of Globe, Arizona. This is January 1947. This is north of the Superstition Mountain Range and west of Globe. The primary eyewitness was in the Navy during World War II. And this is UFO crash retrievals, page 93, case A10. And I've got the map here to show you just a basic idea where this took place. And primary eyewitnesses driving a Jeep down this desert area. They're looking for some property. It's getting a little bit, sunset is just starting to happen. It was still bright out. And what these 2 military personnel in this Jeep saw, just incredible. They were stopped by military personnel and challenged. Off to the left, about another 150 feet off to the left, was a 30-foot diameter dish-shaped craft. It had augured in at a 45-degree angle. It was 18 feet high. It had 2 ridges wrapped around the outer circumference of the craft itself. And then there was looked like indented square sections wrapped around the outer circumference and a dome section. That's what this retrieval operation. Now, they got there early in the entire operation before there were a lot of military personnel at the location. So what I want to do now is I want to take you to the full color illustration that has not been seen, and that's the purpose of this series here. Here's our full color illustration of what this may have looked like, done by Joel. Did a great job here. This is 1947, Arizona, west of Globe, and we've got our tractor trucks here. We've got military personnel. Can you imagine what this would have been like to see this back in 1947? Incredible sight. Where are they keeping these? Why are they keeping these under wraps? It definitely, part of it has to do with the propulsion systems associated with these vehicles. Next one, White Sands Missile Range. This is July 4th, 1947. The primary eyewitness was a technical sergeant in the U.S. Army Air Force. And this is page 196. And I've got the map here of White Sands Missile Range. It gives you an idea of where this took place. Now, this was at night when this craft came down, and this is what it looked like. This thing was massive, between 100 to 150 feet in diameter. Now, when the team got there, it was kind of embedded at about a 30-degree angle. And the primary eyewitness within the spec sheet stated that this retrieval operation was excruciatingly well lit. So you can see we've got these light alls, we've got spotlights, we've got tents off to the side. This thing is 150 feet in diameter. It was very well lit. They had still camera photographers there with flash bulb cameras. They had motion picture film reels going. They had people in rubber suits crawling up the outer disc of this craft. They had people with Geiger counters going around this craft. So again, they have got the photographic evidence and they've got the motion picture film reels as well. Here's the full color rendering by Joel. Did a really good job here. Can you imagine being here, you know, seeing these lights beaming down on this craft, being 150 feet in diameter? Must have been an incredible sight here. Absolutely. Next one. UFO crash retrieval, 1947. Now we're finally getting into this Roswell timeline here. This, believe it or not, was seen at a warehouse in Berkeley University. Albert Bruce Collins, deceased, was the primary eyewitness. He was a metallurgical engineer, and this is page 197 in the book. Now, he was at the right place at the right time when this 18-wheeler tractor trailer lowboy backed in. And he had this white lab coat technician on. He had a clipboard as this tractor trailer is backing in. Here's what it looked like here. This looked like an egg. It was 30 feet across, 15 feet high. It looked like a cracked egg, and it had a breach on the side of it. There was a composite panel on the forward section of the craft itself. There was another composite panel wrapped around what looked like a 3-foot diameter central egg yolk core of this. And this panel wrapped around this 3-foot diameter orb in the center of it. There was a band wrapped around the craft itself, and then there was a hole breach on the side of the craft with shrapnel coming out the side of it. So it appears that this thing had an implosion and something material got kicked out the side of it. Now, here's the question. Is this the main craft, or is this the propulsion system of something that it fits inside that's much larger? That's my big question here. Now, I want to take you to the full color rendering of what this craft may have looked like. This is per the eyewitness report. So you can see it's been backed in here. We've got some boxes here. You can see the crack on the egg. We've included the bulkhead on the forward section. Also, this composite bulkhead that's wrapping around the outer circumference of this inner yoke here. And then if you look off to the lower right-hand side of the craft, it has this hole breach on it. So that's seen as well. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next case here. This is Carrot Patch, south of Salinas, California, July, August, 1947. Now, this was seen by two 19-year-old boys that were working in the Carrot Patch. The foreman had alerted them the morning they came to work. So it had come down later the previous evening. And this is from the Leonard Stringfield dictation notes. Here's the original sketch that came with the notes. This thing was 9 feet in diameter, 4 feet tall. It had a double row of indented, what looked like ports or not necessarily windows. Now they were wrapped around the outer circumference of the craft. I'll move on here. X marks the spot. Now you can see where this craft came down. The highway is off to the left here. We've got the 101 that's coming off. And if you look closely on this, you can see the 1. So that would be Pacific Coast Highway heading northbound. So this is X marks the spot. Now we'll move on to the first pass that I did to try to get this thing illustrated. It had a flat top, again, 9 feet in diameter, 4 feet tall. This was the first pass color rendering that I put together on this. And now we want to go to Rudy's beautiful drawing of what this thing looks like. Now, these two boys, one of them got enough courage to walk up to this thing and kick it with his boot. So we know that he actually did kick it. So there was a little bit of a physical interaction there. Now, about 5 minutes later, the military showed up. And these two boys were told to get lost, but they were not too far away that they didn't see the retrieval operation. They saw military personnel lift this craft up onto the 18-wheeler tractor trailer lowboy, and then they moved this thing out. They saw this entire operation. So now I want to take you to the full color rendering of what this craft may have looked like. And it's a really good job here by Joel. Did a fantastic job. Again, can you imagine this? This is all within this Roswell timeframe. Now we're looking at 5, 6, 7 retrievals that they've already got. What is going on with these retrievals? What are these witnesses trying to tell us here? Can they actually keep this under wraps for all these years? It looks like they can do it. It looks like they can do it. Now, the whole point of this channel is to make these cases come alive. Make them alive through the use of sketches, drawings, illustrations, eyewitness reports based on actual firsthand military witnesses. Certainly some of these are civilian witnesses, but again, the entire thrust of this YouTube channel is to make these cases come alive. And these cases also need to be reviewed in Washington, D.C. in an effort to preserve an important part of our national history. And I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I will continue with a review on section 2 of these with more full color illustrations. And I certainly want to thank you for your attention.